I've been paying my dues, slaving through the weekends, through the holidays and all. Early morning through the late night, talking winter through the fall. I've been going through it all. Sorry if I miss your call. I've been working in the kitchen, Jamba Juices, taking pictures in the mall.
Number 1, Newborn. Ooh. Holy shit. Yeah, they jamming on this one. This is crazy. The vibrato is crazy. So the crazy thing is, this album came out in 2001. That's 18 years ago. Like, what? In 2 years, this album will be 20. And I'm trying to put myself in y'all's shoes, hearing this for the first time. Like, that had to be a trip. That's dope. I mean, their intros have been really, really cool and very interesting. Much like all of the Arctic Monkey ones I'm getting. It's kind of cool that I'm doing both Arctic Monkeys and Muse kind of back to back. Like, out of all the suggestions right now, those are the highest in demand. So it's kind of cool that on these different sides of the spectrum, I'm getting so much interesting music all in one go. So I'm happy about that. That was phenomenal. Let's keep going. Number 2, Bliss. It's so funny. I'm hearing this and I'm listening to it, but it's really reminding me of the song they did for the Twilight soundtrack, which was so fire. Wow, okay. So a little different with the follow-up to it. I like the spacey vibe of it. Definitely felt very, it felt Queen-like a little bit. Felt like a Queen song. Synthesizers were going all over the place, so it had a kind of 80s retro feel to it. That's definitely a grower, though. I think I'd have to listen to the album a couple times to really get with that one. First listen, though, I think the vocals are the strongest part about it, because, I mean, Matt's vocals are insane. But yeah, I feel like that's definitely one that has to grow on you as you listen to it more. First listen, I don't love it, but I do love the vocals on it. I think the delivery on it was flawless. Number 3, Space Dementia. Ooh, that is absolutely haunting. And the keys are still going crazy in the back. What? Oh my goodness. Oh, he crying on the record now, okay. Kind of reminded me a little bit of The Darkness, and I like that. The Darkness is dope too, though. That's amazing. That's crazy. That's crazy. Definitely the strongest for me so far. I think that's a little stronger than the intro, only because there's so much more range and dynamics to his vocals on that one, and I like that it feels like he was really stretching for that that game changing or that standing ovation worthy performance on the record, on that track. And those killer keys in the background, like going off. Love that. And it gives just so much more energy to the whole composition. Like the whole song already just felt otherworldly. So I like that it's really aptly titled, but it doesn't disappoint on being something that's an eye-grabbing title. Like this is something that you would look at, you turn, well, people don't do CDs anymore, but you turn the CD over and you're looking at the track list. That's a song title that's gonna catch your eye off the bat. So I like that it's one of those attention-seeking songs, and not in a bad way, but it's one of those songs that grabs your attention when you eyeball it, but it only adds to why it grabbed your attention, and I like that a lot. Number 4, hyper music. It built a whole intro off of feedback. Ooh. That's another perfect case of something being so wrong that it's right. Something being so off that it's on. Something that shouldn't work that does. You know what I mean? Like, those amps, if you've ever been in a band or tuned up a guitar or went to a garage show or whatever, when they kick on the amp and you get that instant feedback while they're tuning the guitar and just messing around, it's a really vintage element of just that punk, rock and roll, grunge type sound. Like it's pretty nostalgic really thinking about it right now. Like that really brings me back, and it's crazy because that was the whole intro. The whole intro was just feedback. Like they introduced the song through feedback, and that's really dope to me. I like that. I mean, it's a concept that I don't think a lot of people would think of doing. And then the way that the chords all worked, and then those extra chords with the other chorus, the way that the song progressed. I mean, it's really again, like even with Black Holes and Revelations, just seeing when that was created and hearing it now and just feeling like it would carry some weight if it dropped now. I'm getting the same with this, but in a greater sense because it's older, I believe. I'm pretty sure this came before Black Holes, but I'm in awe. I'm kind of shocked by just how quality everything is. And mind you, like, I knew about certain songs from them, and I knew about the songs that they did for Twilight, but I really got into them after I listened to them in college when Second Law was out, and I listened to that day in and day out, and I thought that was such a great record. But I'm really impressed by just how quality. But I'm really just impressed by how much quality their music really has, and I mean, I say constantly, it will stand the test of time, and regardless of how many blogs or how many people like bring it up, they're still really, really prominent out here. I mean, I think they just toured Simulation Theory. I think the whole tour was sold out, and their community is very, very supportive, but very positive, and I like that. I like that they really are here for their favorite people, their favorite band, however you want to go about it, and it really is all about the music. And I feel like, I've never really seen anything too negative, too harsh. People get fair criticisms. Like it's different with the Weezer fandom, because I feel like the Weezer people just want another Pinkerton, or they want another Green album, or they want another debut album from them, and they just constantly lash out and just really just drag down everything they do. So I don't know. I feel like the Muse community, and I don't know if that's like what you guys are called. I don't know if y'all have like a name or something, but I just feel like as a group of fans, Muse's supporters are very, very likable, but very very conscious and sound people. And I mean that by they really process when they get a project from them. They took in Simulation Theory, they picked it apart, they analyzed it, they found what they loved, they maybe found what they didn't like, and they didn't attack the members of the band about it. They didn't attack anybody about their opinion of it or how they felt or what they thought. Everybody pretty much just had a discussion on the album, and I think that's rare because we live in such a stan culture driven society, where if you don't like my fave, then it's F you forever. Or if you don't think that this album is a classic, then your music opinion is garbage. So, you know, it's just cool to see that that's not the case with this group of fans. And, you know, I'm not saying that to shade any other fandoms, but, you know, I like that my encounters with Muse fans and just seeing how you guys talk about all the records from the band is really, really cool. So, that's another great track. You know, I've rambled on for a lot, but it's a really great track, and I'm really liking what I'm hearing. Number 5, Plug In Baby. Okay. Softer delivery, alright, I see you. That's pretty tough, I like that falsetto coming through. That range is insane. I would definitely go on record to say he has Freddie Mercury's range. Like, his range is very similar to how high Freddie Mercury could go, but the tone is what's really the similar factor, because Freddie really has such a beautiful tone to when he's saying. Just the way that he could change from his chest voice to his head voice seamlessly while singing too. And just the power and control that he had when he sang. Like, it makes a lot of sense that Adam Lambert would take up the mantle of that, because that man's range is also absolutely incredible. But I hear a lot of Freddie Mercury in Matthew's vocals, and I think that is something to be extremely proud of, because, you know, when you got a gift, you got a gift. You know, that's something that nobody can take from him. You know, like, that's something he'll always be remembered for. He'll be immortalized for his voice, 100%. Number 6, Citizen Erased. Oh yeah, this feels 2001 for sure. Oh, this feels like 2001. Definitely back when grunge was a thing. Ooh. See what I'm saying? From that chest to head, he was belting just a second ago. Now he's all the way in his falsetto. That's crazy. Wow. Hearing a song like that definitely brings me back to when I was talking about how Matthew influenced Tyler Joseph and his delivery in the early 21 Pilots music. Now, I'm pretty sure I don't know if that is still carrying now, because they're definitely in their own lane. Trench is still crazy as hell. Salute, fire album. But in the early albums, definitely on the self-titled album, that first album, definitely drew from the Muse influence for sure. I don't know too much about Regional, because I listened to that once for the video and just never went back. But definitely that first album, I can hear a lot of Muse in that first album. Like, a lot of the same grunge feel, a lot of the same rough around the edges feel, but, you know, the so wrong that it's right type of feel. So I kind of got that same rough feel with this one, but the vocal delivery was so beautiful, and the way that the song transformed as it went on, you know, over the course of its 7 minutes, was really, really beautiful. So I mean, I think that's the best thing I'm getting with all these Muse albums, is that they're all different, but they're all quality. Like, nothing feels like a deterioration. And I know a lot of people didn't like The Second Law, and, you know, I saw in some comments that Simulation Theory wasn't really well received early on, which I'm kind of shocked at, because I didn't see that. But again, I be listening to so many different people. I'm in so many different realms and lanes with music that, you know, I can't see anything besides the stuff that I see initially. And I saw Love initially for that album, so I don't know what to tell you. But yeah, that's another really good one. I liked it. Number 7, Microcuts. Ooh, ooh. At this point, he's just flexing. Like, he knows he can sing like this. I can only imagine what seeing him record that was like. I can only imagine being in the studio and then having him come out of the booth and having him listen to the vocal stems. And then he was probably like, yeah, I just went for it, you know. You know how talented people are, where they're just like, oh yeah, there's nothing. I just do what I do. That's crazy. Ugh, disgusting ending. I loved it. Number 8, Screenager. Ah. Oh, that's really weird. Oh, that would be perfect in a movie. Oh, that could open a horror movie. Oh, that's crazy. Ooh, the bongos in the back. This is crazy. Tribal feel, what? Yeah, the whole feel of that one, I think, was just dope because the song just kept moving. The song just kept going into different realms and going into different moods and just feels. The song felt alive. Like, it felt like it felt like it had a heartbeat. Like, it was crazy. But that's just something else that I'm loving. I mean, there's so many different ways to get different feels and different interpretations of the music. So, you know, having all of this to choose from, just a plethora of feels on a first listen, that's a big positive. You know, it doesn't feel one-sided. It doesn't feel restricted. It doesn't feel grounded. You know, it's very free-flowing, but to go to the title of the album, it still has a theme. Like, it still has a focus. So, you know, while everything is very expressive, it is in that realm of all directed energy and all directed musical tone. So that's absolutely crazy and intricate to do, but the execution is there with that. Number 9, Darkshines. Oh. Ooh. Bassline, I hear you. That kind of had like a Wild West, Southern secret agent feel. And that's a weird combination, but that's the kind of vibe I was getting. I kind of feel the same way about that one that I felt about Bliss. Might have to listen to it in succession with the album a couple times. I think the delivery on this one was a lot stronger than Bliss, because I know Bliss was intended to be more tender and more artistic. I feel like that following Screenager kind of just offset it a little bit. Another track that I think would eventually grow on me the more that I go back and listen to the album. Coming up on the last bit of tracks, number 10, Feeling Good. I feel like everybody's covered this song. It's a new life for me, and I'm feeling good. Come on with it. I mean, I've really just heard that song covered to death. Their cover was dope, though. I have nothing to take away from it. I've just heard that song so many times that I just, Feeling Good cover. Cool. Like, it didn't really do anything for me, but it didn't deter me from them at all. I mean, again, I've heard this song covered to death. I've heard it covered thousands of times from numerous different artists, and you know, I really do prefer the original. But yeah, it was a good cover nonetheless. But yeah, I mean, I've just heard it so many times that, you know, when I do hear it, it doesn't really do anything for me now. Like, I mean, unless it's like done like super indie or super dark or something like that, then I can have a different interpretation for it. But I like their spin on it. I like how they kind of made it really, really modern, but they still kept the classic big band element to it. Bow, with the pizzazz and the punch. So it was good. Number 11, Megalomania, and I hope I said that correctly. That organ is crazy. Okay, so kind of feel like I'm kind of happy that's not the closer, because I think that one was a little more disjointed than the other ones. Like, that one didn't feel as strong in composition as Darkshines or Bliss. Or even Microcuts. Microcuts was crazy. I kind of didn't like how low the vocals were on it, but I think it was musically really beautiful. And when it got to the climax of the song, you know, when everything rose and built up and we had that big splash of sound, I think that was cool. But as a closer, I didn't love it. For the regular version, there's a song after it, but you know, if you didn't get that track, I think if you didn't get this bonus track that's up next, then I don't know. I'd feel a type of way about that being the final note with everything else that you've been given prior to. So that's just how I'm feeling off the first listen. That's probably the first one that I don't think would grow on me after a couple listens. I think it'd have to be like later down the line, and then I revisit it or something like that. Everything else, the other tracks that I wasn't loving as much as everything else, I could see growing on me pretty quickly, but that's the first one that I don't think would. And lastly, number 12, Futurism. Ooh. It's really good that the album is ending with this one. Yeah, I'm very happy we ended with that one. Overall, definitely a fun suggestion. Yeah, I'm intrigued to see how people go in the next way of voting. Definitely gonna ask for comments below, but I'm also gonna do another poll as well. I really did love just how much the theme of symmetry was with this album. Like, everything definitely felt all together, but still expressive in that same light. You know, I know I talk with my hands a lot, but everything still felt very free and without constraints and without limitations. But it all did fit the theme and the tone and the sound of the album. So, I mean, it all really fell in line while still being in its own lane, if that makes sense. I will say, though, this album was harder to understand. I feel like the emotion of the album definitely carried more than the lyrics did. And I don't know if that was on purpose. I don't know if that was the intention. You know, with me and lyrics, it's always, you know, everybody gets mad at me for it. But I'm like, hey, I still like it. You know, the meaning may mean something crazy or maybe something else, but I'm feeling the music. You know, I can dig deep with y'all after I get out of the first view and the first listen. But yeah, it was a little hard to understand them on some songs. But I don't think that matters too much, only if that's what you're looking for with the record. Like, if that's something that you want to pick at and you want to pick that apart, you know, that's your prerogative. But I like that the emotion, I think, was also part of the theme of symmetry and everything belonging on the album and, you know, going with the focus of the sound. So while I wish I could have followed the lyrics a little more, which is really, really rare for me to say, because I really move off of music. I'm glad that the music was so wild and so catastrophic, really. But in the same way, it all came off as creative. It didn't come off as trying to be edgy or trying to be grunge. So, yeah, Origin of Symmetry, definitely something I'll remember for sure. Comment below which Muse album you want me to do next in the suggestions. We have a lot of other suggestions on the way. I greatly appreciate all of you. Thank you so much for watching. Like, share, subscribe, the whole nine. You know the biz, you know what it is. It's Gerald O'Brien, and I'm out.